Welcome to the Sunday Roast, the show that overreacts to the weekend's footy, the show that roasts the loser and celebrates the winner, the show that gives you all the best odds of the weekend. Joining me, as always, Jev and Dobe. How are you, brother?
Unbelievable, Jev. A little bit hungover. We went through all the hard solos at Public House yesterday, and I have an absolute cracking headache. What's in those things? 10 cups of sugar and just a punch to the head.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
It was Morgs' 30th yesterday, and we fucking started about 3 o'clock, ended about 2 a.m. just drinking hard solos. I have a splitter of a headache. I'm about to get on the train and go to the Swans game to go watch us pump the Hawks. See Buddy Frank. I'm going to be crying arm in arm with Hawthorn tomorrow. So I love you, buddy. So that's happening in a minute. So we're not covering that game, and we won't be covering Gold Coast, West Coast, which is West Coast by 2 points, nearly halftime because, yeah, that game's going on right now. But let's go all the way back to Wednesday night. Feels like forever ago. Richmond, Melbourne. The D's win by 43 points in what was a bit of a shocker. Did you watch this game, Dobe? Talk to me.
Jev, Anzac Day Eve, what is meant to be one of the better clashes on the calendar. As you did mention, Melbourne win by 43 points. This is an absolute snooze fest, Jev. This is absolute ass crack. 24-23 at halftime. Then the D's kicked away, booting 10 goals in the second half. I was at work on Wednesday night, Jev, so I actually didn't get to watch this one. And to be honest, I didn't even go back and watch the KO Mini. I don't even care. I don't even have an opinion on this game. Richmond stink. Melbourne got it done. That's it. I did not even go back and watch the tape on this. Call me unprofessional. But that's me. Yeah. Jev, what did you see in this game?
Richmond, it's fucked with Richmond. I reckon, they're half decently coached and you can see what they're trying to do, but they just don't have the talent on the park to do it. They're too injured. They've only got 28 players to pick from. Then Hopper got injured, so now it's 27 players on their whole list to pick from. They field 23 in 3 emergencies. So there's one AFL listed bloke that's fucking getting left out, basically. And then it's just, they're in so much trouble, the Tigers. They're in so much trouble. So they've got one of two choices, Das.
All right,
so I said on the 100K when North Melbourne will play their next final and it's going to, or win their next final. It won't be till the 2030s. I think the same about Richmond. Richmond will not win another final in the 2020s because as they bring in new talent in, old guys are going to retire. So they'll get a top 3 pick this year, but probably lose Dylan Grimes. Then they might get a top 3 pick next year, then lose Tom Lynch. They're going to lose Dustin Martin. So it's just not going to work out that they're going to be good. And they've got the worst kids in the league as it is, and we know that. That's not a hot take. They have the worst young guys in the league. It's not even a strong take anymore. It's just facts. So they've got 2 choices. Either be shit forever, or they've legit got to trade Tom Lynch. I'd like Tom Lynch at the Swans for a year. Try and win a flag. If we lose Logan McDonald, trade Tom Lynch, Liam Baker, Dustin Martin, Dan Rioli. Basically trade them all. Get as many draft picks you can before Tassie comes into the league. Because once Tassie comes into the league, the draft is compromised, and you're just going to be shit. They're going to be shit for another 15 years. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Dobe?
Yeah, we almost want to say that's why some people. They put a little, not an asterisk next to the way that Hawthorn were able to three-peat and stay on top. That's when Gold Coast and stuff were coming into the league. So if you're on top, you're going to stay on top for a while because you've still got some good crop of players. Why the teams down the bottom, they're missing out on these picks because all the future clubs are getting an abundance of picks. So, yeah, they've obviously got to look for the future. They're talking about whether Dusty plays his 300th then fucks off. So I'm not sure if you're going to get anything for him.
Hawthorn were bringing in Brian Lake and Sean Burgoyne and Josh Gibson and all these guys, talented guys. They didn't go through the draft. They brought it through for agency, where Richmond need to hit the draft and they need to get some young talent. But anyway, for the game, yeah, as we said, it was shit. It was a crappy game. Even the Melbourne players were like, well, that wouldn't have been a good first half to watch, and it wasn't. Second half was okay. Melbourne were good. They don't scare me right now, Melbourne.
Nah.
Their defense is super. Everyone knows, contest and defense. All they talk about. But their firepower doesn't scare me like other teams, like Carlton, like Geelong. When they move the ball quick and they get it down to Jez one-on-one, Charlie one-on-one, all these guys, you're terrified of it. The Melbourne forward line just doesn't scare me. They don't score enough. They don't kick enough goals. I don't think they can kick enough goals to win a premiership. Do you?
No, I don't. But can you tell me about Daniel Disco Turner? What about him? Big Danny Turner, he was the only marker we had. What was he paying? 21 for 3.
Yeah, I can't tell you much that his name's Disco because he's got 2 left feet and he can't dance, and that's about it. That's all I can tell you. He was on an interview after the thing, and they're like, why do they call you Disco? He's like, oh, the boys reckon I got 2 left feet and I just can't dance, so they call me Disco. Like,
that's great.
Danny. There wasn't much going on. Marlon Pickett tagged Petrarca, and it was really good, but Petrarca worked. It was a good battle, so like, it was working and they were limiting Petrarca's impact, but just the champion Petrarca just worked him over and got the better of him in the end. But it's like, it's a good tactic to go. Adam Uze, who was Melbourne's assistant coach, goes to Richmond and the first thing he does is tag Petrarca. So that's going to be on tape for other coaches to see, like, righto, you stop this guy, I might go away to beating him. So we'll see if that comes out again. But apart from that, there isn't much to talk about in this game.
It's dog's ass game. Let's move on.
Next game, the actual Anzac Day, 85-85 draw. Collingwood Essendon in front of 93,000. This game was fucking awesome, Das. Go for it.
Game of the year so far, Jev. Game of the year. Cole Langford kicked the first, paying $10.50, and Zach Merritt won the medal, paying $6. So very sure he was second favourite. But what a fucking start to the game, Jev. The Bombers kicked 6 out of the first 7 goals. Langford, Stringer, Jones, Parrish, then big 2-metre Peter, arse-eating Mojito. His first game back. The Bombers fans at that stage would have felt like me and Morgs up in Brisbane watching the Blues play the prelim. You're like, oh my God. But just like it's almost like the Lakers and the Nuggets series. Doesn't matter how far the Lakers get up. You just think that the Nuggets are always going to come back. And that's exactly what it was. And the thing about footy, which is so clear now, especially in the last 18 months, with the way that the game is played, you always know that you're going to get your chance.
Yep.
So momentum swings back and forth, back and forth. And it's all about how much can you weather the storm when you don't have it, and then when you have it, how much can you actually capitalise and put the score on the board, which is what the Pies always come back and do.
Yep.
Dacos kicked the first goal of the last, which he drew that one back from the pocket. Bobby Dazzler gave it over to him, drew it back perfectly. Then the Bombers kicked the next 3, so Langford, Martin, Langford. Then the sub Harvey Harrison came on, kick one. McCreary kicked one. Then Langford has the shot to seal the game. History for the Bombers, and just doesn't convert, finishes in a draw. What a fucking game. For the mutual supporters, for someone that hates both clubs, it probably works out perfectly because they both lose. But I actually like the draw in a big spectacle game like that. I think keep the draw because at the end of the night, you still had 120 minutes to figure it out. You couldn't sort it out, shake hands, move on. It's 2 points. It was fucking awesome. It felt like a final. I feel the commentators finally stepped up, Jev. I reckon they've been so lackluster this year. But I feel James Brayshaw or BT, like they were calling it like it was a final. So it was actually very enjoyable to watch. What do you think?
Yeah, it was just great. It was 2 teams, I reckon, in the 5 to 8 range going at it. If you're talking about finals, like you watched it and you're like, it's good standard. It's the game's so much about like you roll the dice at a contest, and if you win that contest, everyone starts running forward until you kick a goal. And if you lose that contest, you usually get done out the back. And it was just swings of momentum, and Pendles was good, but he looked slow. Steel side bottom looked like a builder out there. He was moving like my old boss. And then like Merritt was unreal. Nick Martin nearly got him over the line in the last quarter. Jakey Stringer was great, like sort of going in the midfield, playing on DeGoey. It was just a fucking great game, and both teams probably should have feel like they should have won it, and both teams probably feel like they should have lost it. I tipped the draw. This is annoying. So I had no money in the sports bet account to us. I tipped the draw at halftime.
Again, no money again.
26-1. Yeah, I'm out of cash again. 26-1. Didn't have any money, so I didn't live bet call it. Then I tipped it at 3/4 time. It was 19-1. I said in the group chat, like, I think there's going to be a draw, but I couldn't be bothered calling sports bet or depositing any money to have a bet on it, and then it ended up drawing. I just looked dumb. So, yeah, it was fucking sick game. Have you got some odds there?
Yeah, I do. But before we get into that, I just want your honest assessment on Nick Hind. I just want to know if you've got anything for me on.
He sucks. I don't want to be mean, but there has to be a better player. I reckon. Do you reckon it's one of those ones? So like, whether what's his name? Elijah Sardis is a bit of a bust or whatever, but they don't bother playing him as the sub. They'd rather play him in VFL, where he had like 40 yesterday in the VFL. He played really well. So it's like they either want him playing 4 quarters of VFL or 4 quarters of AFL. Whereas like Nick Hines done, and it's like, we just need you to play a fucking quarter, please.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that they only bring him in just because he's really quick. Like they obviously want speed, they want pressure. Like whether he can mow a couple of people down and gain a couple of 1-2 links in the chain, and then try and break the game open a bit. But he's just not polished enough. And for the fans listening, we may have to do another Sunday roast after 10 hard solos, because this conversation that we had yesterday was absolutely brutal. Oh, but we can't say.
Well, we're saying stuff like he looks like the kid that drank mother at primary school and shit, and he used to punch walls and bark at people. One of those sort of kids from primary school. But I do like the theory with the Bombers, like, they play Goldstein, Draper, Mackay, 2 meter Peter. They play really big, and he is the perfect guy. Like, if you're looking too big out there, you take a big off and you bring a runner on. But he nearly cost him the game. That slip over that landed in Bo McCreary's hands, and he finished it. I thought he cost him the game, but anyway. Yeah, awesome game. I love the draw. I think it's different. I think it's unique. Yeah. As Kane Collins said, it happens once, twice a year. Just like let it happen. Like, it was just cool.
I've got so Langford for 4 goals was $7. The elite medium, he had a bit of a conniption, Jev. I think he was on the spectrum for some of that game. Like he looked like Wayne Carey, and then he was just duffing them out on the full. But for 3 goals, he was $3.10. Nick Martin for a snag, $3.60. Darcy Parish for a snag was $4.50. Obviously, we know he doesn't get centre forward too often. But then the touches, McGrath for 30 plus was $4.80. He's having a sneaky good season, Jeb. Nick Martin was $2.15 for 30. And Merritt was only $1.69. So that's how often that man's getting it. Dyson Heppel had 27. He's actually having an all right season as well.
He's been great, hasn't he?
So for $3.90 for 25. But I just want to put this on the map, Jev, and for all the punters out there, Jake Stringer had 1 goal, 19 touches. If he's going into the midfield a lot more, so it was 1 touch off. For 20 touches, he was paying $10.
Oh, so next week.
So put this on the map. You'll probably be into like 580 or something.
Who have they got next week? I'm going to look it up.
It's a good question.
They play West Coast over at Optus Stadium next week.
I could see him playing in the middle on like an Elliot Yeo.
I reckon they'll put him steam next to Harley Reid a little bit. And he'll try and break away. Yes, 20 touches, Jake Stringer next week. Let's be all over that.
Yep.
Great call, Dust. Let's go to the next game. The GWS Giants gave the Brisbane Lions a good old-fashioned arse whooping without their 2 best fucking players, or 2 of their 4 best players, or 3 of their top 10 players. GWS win by 54 points, 113-59 at Tom Green Fan Club Arena. Talk to me.
Jev, what's the difference between a car crash and the Brisbane Lions?
What's that?
You can actually watch a car crash because the Lions are unwatchable, Jev. They got beaten up. Noah Answorth, Eric Hipwood, Jack Payne, Kai Lohman, grow up. Jamie Tunstall, more like Jamie Standstill. He doesn't move, Jev. He doesn't man up. He doesn't go near his opponent. Oh, Jev, they were so goddamn embarrassing. We have heard about the Orange Tsunami. This was a tidal wave. This was just like the equator, just tectonic plates moving. Like, there was so much pressure. And have you seen that meme how the guy just tries to get like the Band-Aid and just put it over like the brick wall that's all coming through? That's what their defense was. They were so bad. Like, it was actually embarrassing. I turned it off a couple of times and then put it back on, and you're just laughing. Like, so happy for the Giants. Darcy Jones, I think that's his name, young fella.
Yeah.
Got a little bit to talk about, to be honest. It is so, like, the Giants are in such a good position, but God, I feel these guys are going to be stiff if they get dropped. Perryman's been playing really good, finally got back into the side. He's taken the mark the other week to win him the game. He's come in and kicked 2 goals. Actually couldn't get him for any goals. You've got
Peatling, young Jacob Weir kid,
Harvey Thomas, Xavier O'Halloran, Darcy Jones is playing well. Like, there's going to be some stiff,
good players, aren't they?
Going to be some stiff kids. Most of these guys will be walk-up starters in any other side. Like, the amount of firepower they have, like, on the bench. Darcy Jones was so impressive. Like, you can't drop him after one game.
I was so fucking impressed with that Darcy Jones. He's a leg speed. When you watch that video on Insta, the replay, the leg speed he's running at when he kicks his first goal, that's all I had to see to go, oh my God, like that looked like a wide receiver yards after catch. Like he was moving.
Yeah.
And you just saw Tom Green, I think it was Tom Green, they were in a handball chain and he popped it over the top so he could get it on the run. And then he was just showed him the cleats and you're like, wow.
You look like a
add that to your
greyhound.
repertoire.
You look like a greyhound with early speed at Dapto. Barrier 1 or 8. Just go.
And then what about Finn Callahan, our man, the local produce, when he was bursting away from stoppages, bouncing the ball, breaking tackles? How impressive did he look? It was his birthday. Did he turn 21 during the week? I think he might have.
He is. I'm going to view his profile right now.
I reckon he turned 21.
Yeah, 21.
Oh, so
Just
now
he's
about to
live
hit
TV.
his prime, while Tom Green's 24, basically in his prime. Stephen Canilo's prime, Josh Kelly, they're all hitting like different parts of their prime all at the same time. Oh, fuck, they were good. Sam Taylor, and they still made Eric Hipwood look like a lesbian as usual. What else? No Toby Green, didn't matter.
No. The local produce, we even messaged him after and I said, unbelievable game. He said, cheers, boys. Hopefully see you back down the Vultures when I get back down there. So we know we've got a big fan in the local produce, but he's huge.
He's so big.
So I'm not sure. So there's a thing that you're meant to do 100 hundreds. I think the Brayshaws started it on Christmas. So we went down there, Jev, and we were loping through those 100 hundreds, me, you, and Hezzy. And then he rocked up. Who was there? Harvey Johnson as well. There's a few other Saints guys.
Marcus Windhager. They had the kits off.
Geez, they were moving. We had to hide our sloppy wrist.
They had the kits. You should, if you ever fucking see Finn Callahan, Marcus Windhager with their kits off in person, you're like, oh, that's an impressive specimen. Yeah, fuck, they were good, the Giants. And the Lions are dead set, ass cracked ass.
Oh.
They are dogs. They are on the biggest arrogance watch of all time. It's just like, it happens every year. You lose the grand final by this much, so you rock up to preseason and you go, it's going to be the exact same again next year. Like, we're going to play in the grand final because we're good enough, and you might have that one extra beer at Christmas and do that one little less rep and not do those extras at training, and then you don't get any better when the whole competition gets better and they just go past like that. Happened to the Swans and the Cats last year. So the Cats just got a bit injured because they missed finals. Remember the Swans were like fucking dog shit and then they went on a run at the end of the year with the Blues to just scrape into finals, but they weren't good enough after losing the flag because they didn't get better. You banged up after grand final. You got to get your off-season surgeries in October, then try and get into preseason. Like, it's so hard to back it up. And the Brisbane Lions just looked like they were way too arrogant and they were just like, oh, we're playing in the prelim again. And I got sucked into it. So I had a bet with Pricey, our man Pricey. I'm like, in the preseason pod, I said, Brisbane Lions are top 4 certainties. I said they could win up to 20 games. 17's like the minimum they're going to win. And he goes, well, let's have a slab. They won't finish top 4. I said, that's the easiest slab I've ever got. And he saw it. He's just like, nah, they're not that good. And now they've played in the grand final. They're behind. So could be a massive call from Pricey, like a massive win from Pricey. But yeah, they are dog shit.
Yeah. So some odds, Jev. It's funny enough, but we're only looking at GWS players because no Brisbane Lions you're not going to make any money off them. Callum Brown kicked 3 goals, Jev, so $5.60 for 3. I'm not sure if I mentioned he kicked the first at $13 as well. Riccardi for 3 was $4.80. Darcy Jones for 2 was $3.80. And I actually had this, I went back, I put this on. Harvey Thomas for 2 was paying 14-1.
And you had a little slice of it.
Yeah, I did.
Beautiful.
Which was great.
Well done.
Tom Green, 37. For 35, he was 345, which is great. He's a chance to come through and get some votes in this one, Jev. You
3
are
round
right.
votes.
But we just want to welcome to the 30 club for the first time the local produce career high 32 touches, $8.75 if you have a slice of that.
16
friends and
kicks,
family will be
handles.
friends and family will be eating comfortably tonight. Because when people say who's on these legs, if you're a friend or family member was playing, you'd back them every week. So
everything.
They're eating well tonight.
Tom Green, is he getting 3 Brownlow votes? Am I back on the pod writing 3 Brownlow votes? Or are we going to give him 2.5? Because the produce was fucking good.
Yeah, I can go 2.5.
We'll go 2.5.
You never know. They might see like, actually, no, I think Tom Green gets it.
1 goal, 37 touches, highest rated player on the ground on the app.
Yeah, no, Tom.
Let's give him 3.
I think
And the
Tom
Brown,
gets it.
he was embarrassed by the Blues last week. So I thought it. I didn't really say it because I love him so much. Then Kingy said it on Fireball Friday, said Cripps and Walsh embarrassed him. So now I said it. Basically, I just pinch Kingy's work as usual. All right, next game, Das. This game was doggy's ass. No, it was all right. Port beat the Saints by 10 points. The Saints fucking stink. Who could have seen this one coming? Fucking everyone. I feel a bit bad for the Saints. The free kick count would have pissed you off as a Saints, but I'm not an umpire basher. I don't think the umpires were necessarily bad, but when you see at the end of the game that the free kick's 25-10 or something, you're just like, how can it not even out? But most of them are there. Like, they were second to the footy, the Saints. They're not that fucking good. Anyway, what did you see in this game?
Yeah, Jev, before we get into it, I've got a quick game for you.
Yep.
So I want you to hold your breath, and you can only breathe again when you feel one of these words resonate with the Saints. All right, so hold your breath. Tough, competitive, aggressive, determined, hungry, hard, working, strong, good to watch, aspiring, lively, piss weak. There it is. Kev, you can breathe again. The Saints are absolute trash. They just get themselves into these shit spots like against the Giants, and that's why it was such a Mickey Mouse comeback, because the game was done. Canelio went down, Taylor went down. They go on this 6-goal run with the Breeze, and they're like, oh, no, the Saints are still all right. And then you watch them in this, they just put themselves in a shit position. Port should have put this away. Like, their inaccuracy early, like, killed them, and they just sort of kept the Saints in them, but geez, they're in a tough spot now. Is that season done, 2-5?
Yeah, they're on the same amount of wins as West Coast. Fucking oath it is.
As well.
I know they've got like North and Hawthorn and these teams coming up, whatever. They might win, but
they're going to lose one of these.
They'd be nervous against North, but North are shit. They're so well coached that they give themselves – so, like, you could see – how Ross Lyon laid out the plan of how they're going to beat Port Adelaide. So they gave themselves a crack to beat. They were trying to defend. They were trying to stop here, and then they were taking their opportunities. But you need some fucking talent on your list, and they got no talent. They're never, ever going to win the flag or win a final with the talent they've got. They need top 3 draft picks. They need Petrarca and Bontempelli running out there, not Paddy McCartan and Jack Billings. Like, they just it's just so fucked how talentless they are. I don't want to be an asshole, but like, you watch it and you're like, Ross Lyon's done everything he can from the coach box to keep this game close. Now the talent on the park needs to take over to win the fucking game, and they just don't have it out there. They have the worst bottom 3 midfield in the comp. That's just inarguable. Butters gave him a bit of a bath as he does to most midfields. But, you know, Rosie doesn't have any. Port's defense is super suspect, and they just had to, like, defend all game and play catch-up footy, and they'll always come from behind. They were trying to steal it at the end. It's like, you can never, ever win like that. You can't win finals and win a flag like that. So, yeah, they are no good.
Yeah, no good, Jev. Port Adelaide, though, they just keep ticking along. A lot of injuries, though. I'm so shattered. Sam Powell-Pepper did his ACL.
He's one of your man. What does your man call him?
Oh, the old man calls him Bell Pepper. He genuinely thought his name was Bell Pepper for like 3 years. So I never corrected him. So we love the Bell Pepper. Must be frustrating. Miss 4 weeks. Now you do your ACL and you got another 12 months on the sideline. But he was so lively early, making tackles, 1 goal, 2. Rosie, we're not exactly sure what he's done.
No, he's done a pretty bad hammy. Oh, it'll be like a 4-weeker. We won't see him for 4 weeks. And then Alir with concussion. So he'll be 12 days. So just going to look at their schedule just quickly, because they got the showdown this week. No Rosie, no Alir. And Adelaide beat them twice last year.
They did.
Then they got the Cats at GMHBA. They're not going to win that. Then they've got the Hawks at Adelaide Oval. And then North. So they'd be happy they'll get the Hawks, and then Rosie will probably come back for North. And they'll probably go... They'd love to think if they can go 3-1 over this next 4 weeks.
That's a massive win.
Massive win. But if they lose to the Crows next week, then lose to the Cats and the Swans and the Blues and the Giants, and the Cats keep winning, they're going to fall out of the top 4 like favour pretty quickly, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure.
They're good. They're just not great. Their defense is super suspect, I reckon. If you can beat them at the contested ball and you can beat them at their own game and you can outplay, like Cripps and Walsh outplay Butters and Rosie, and then you're going to get entries after entries, you're just going to smash them, I reckon. The Blues would smash them. If if the Swans, I reckon, could get him as well. So, but when Rosie and Butters are on and Charlie Dixon and Willie Rioli are on and Georgianis and Marshall popping up, they are fucking awesome. They've got good players. So they are right up there, but I just think they're a little less than the real top sides.
100%. Once they lose a couple of guys, they're not that flashy and like their ball users aren't elite, especially coming out of the back line. Or like you got Farrell and Houston, but they obviously don't want to run back and defend.
Nah.
And then you got Zerk Thatcher that's not going to pick you apart with his footwork and those sorts of guys. But Charlie Dixon, Jev, did kick 4 goals. He was paying $7.50, the big fella.
That's nice.
If you like your key forwards, get on them.
Yeah, for sure.
Sinclair for 25 touches, $1.65. There's not much in this game, Jev. Butters, $1.43. Yeah, there's not much on the touches side. Actually, Willem Drew, what do you have? 20 touches. So for 20 touches at $2.15. Now, we know the Shark does his Brownlow predictions and all that. I don't think Willem Drew gets in the Brownlow votes, if I'm honest. Burgoyne maybe pinches 1. I think Dixon might get 2. I still think Butters gets the votes.
Yeah. But the umpires
turned it over a little bit, but I think he gets the votes. If
the umpires are out in the field and they hear Drew gets the best on medal, does that mean he just gets 3 Brownlow votes though?
I don't know. No, there's been times before that people have won medals and haven't got best on.
Yeah, so anyway, that was that game. The Saints stink. They are in trouble. And now they're at the stage again where they're going to finish 8th, 9th, 10th, and then they're going to get pick 8, 9. By the time Gold Coast do all their academy crap, they're going to get the 11th best player in the draft. And it's like, it's not enough. Like, they should trade for like Tim Taranto or something.
I'm interested to see what they do if they put pen to paper with Mateus Philippou. I know you reckon he's a myth. I was still a little bit more hyped on him, but he's definitely gone to suit. Plays selfishly, doesn't put on pressure. But if he wants to go back to Adelaide, whether they still get some draft capital for him, I'm not sure if any of those teams have some extra picks going. I reckon he'd be perfect at Port.
They need to get Max King back. Yeah. Anyway, Rowan Marshall's a bit sore. So they've got a soft draw the next couple of weeks. So they'll stack a couple of wins. And as we said, these wins mean nothing until they start beating some fucking good teams. So they got North, Hawthorn, then Dockers at Marvel, then they play Melbourne at the Gs, and then they play West Coast. Like, they'll probably win 4 of the next 5 sort of thing, and everyone will think they're back. They're no good.
They need to play Melbourne how they did Collingwood.
Yeah.
Defend and just run your ass off.
Next game, North absolutely stink. They've lost to the Crows by 100 to 57 points, 138 to 81. They've let the Crows kick 20 goals. They just did what they wanted, the Crows. Watching this game, it was like, you guys suck. We were watching this at the Prince Albert Pub. We saw a bit of it. We saw enough of it to tell you North stink, but I don't have much analysis. You got anything to ask?
Rankin kicked the first at 11.50, Jev.
Then he kicked 4. What do we get for 4?
Yeah, so for 4 goals, you were getting, for some reason, it deleted.
I got it here.
You got it?
Yeah, you got 7.50 for 4.
Nice. Zerha for 3 goals at 5.50.
Yeah.
Who's this Cook bloke?
I've never heard of him. 46 to 1 for 3. 2.55 for 1. 10.50 for 2. 46 to 1 for 3.
Wow.
Who is he?
I don't know.
Good on him. Good on him. So that was good. Apart from that, there isn't a heap, is there? Rory Laird, 34. Oh, McKercher, 30. I think it was 12 to 1. Morgs put on the post.
Yeah.
I'm happy for the Crows. Like, you got to win games. They just needed a win. They'll go into this showdown knowing they went 2-0 last year. They'll see Port have a few injuries. They'll feel good about themselves after this win. And the way they played against Essendon, they played better. So they're probably ready to go, come on, we just got to fucking stack another win and let's go. And Jordan Dawson's starting to get back to his form dust. 1 goal, 27 touches yesterday. Played really well against the Bombers last week. Like, it's good to see him back to his All-Australian form. One of the best captains in the league when he's gone. So Crows fans will be happy. Rankin's up and about. Dawson's up and about. Tex is up and about. That's all you need.
So I want to know, I was chatting to the old man, and he's like, well, North have to win a game eventually. Do they? I honestly think that they don't win a game this year.
Let's go through it.
No, I don't see that. Like, I've watched like 5 of their games now. They don't beat anyone. They lost to the Hawks by like 50 points. West Coast are flying at the moment.
They're not going to beat the Saints at Marvel. They're not going to beat the Suns at Darwin. Suns love it up in Darwin. They're not going to beat Essendon at Marvel. They're not going to beat Port Adelaide at Blundstone. Then they've got West Coast at Optus Stadium. If Harley Reid's playing in that game and big Jake Waterman, Tony Lockett, Jason Dunstall's playing in that game, then he'll kick 7 on Aiden Court. They're not going to win that game. Then they got the Pies. Then they got the Ds. When are they winning?
They're not winning a game this year.
Oh, God.
They're not.
If they don't, they need to figure out a way to get – will they ask for a compensation pick? Will they ask for pick 1, pick 2?
100%. I think Clarko goes.
If they don't win one game, Jesus. Yeah, I like that call.
It just seems like maybe he's not the guy for the job.
Yeah, maybe. Mate, I just think it's the worst built list I've ever seen.
They look so flat when they're out there. They're just always like, oh. And also, I wanted to put this on the radar. You have to make Harry Sheasel captain effective immediately. So yesterday was the first time I saw a press conference with Luke McDonald. On the Good Friday appeal game, they made Sheasel get up and do the speech and give the jumper to the kids. After every other game, he's the one fronting up to the media saying about how they're playing.
Yeah.
Like, where the fuck is your two captains?
Jai Simpkin and Lukey Mack.
Where like Luke McDonald was the first time yesterday I've seen him in front of a camera. Like, this kid's copped all the criticism. Like, he has to front the cameras. He's the only one going out there dominating. And he signed for 8 years. So he's probably like, what the fuck am I doing? So I don't know where this turnaround's going to come. Eventually it has to turn. I honestly don't think it will be this season.
Yeah.
I don't think they're winning a game this year.
If they get picks 1, let's say 1 and 2, or 2 in the top 10, don't even scout the midfielders. Like, you've got the mids.
Oh.
They need to draft the 2 195-centimetre key backs and get the 2 best of them. And if you're going to be shit, at least be shit with young guys getting experience.
I think
Just
me and you said,
get them in.
I think me and you said this. What North Melbourne should be going for this year is the Giants to win the premiership.
Yeah.
Because then if the Giants win, they might be able to package up some picks and lure Sam Taylor. Because he's not leaving if they're winning a flag, or if they haven't won a flag, because you know how close they are. But maybe if he gets one under his belt, he's like,
$2 million
time
a
to
year.
get paid. Time to get paid.
$2 million a year for the next 7 years. That's their only hope, is to get Sam Taylor. And then if they get Sam Taylor, then try and get McGovern for a year. Then they might win 8 games for a year and not make finals. Then McGovern.
And then people want to come play.
Yeah, it's just fucked how in trouble they are. They are not winning a final in the 2020s.
Dog shit.
All right. Now let's get to some real footy. This game, you had the best call yesterday. Was this game the grand final preview on the MCG? Geelong beat the Blues by 13 points. Go for it. You're the Blues man.
I think it was. I just think I love hearing a little bit of history. I like to, when they do the little throwbacks. The last time Carlton were 4-0, we made the grand final in 1995. The last time in 1995, there was a draw on Anzac Day, and the 2 people in the grand final were Geelong and Carlton. I thought yesterday when you're watching, you just mentioned before, Essendon Collingwood almost looked like a 5-8 clash. This did look like a top 4 clash, like a 1-4 sides. I feel there's so many players like just in their prime or just in their right time. Max Holmes is really shooting up. Elijah Hollins is coming through. This is the best Blake Acres will ever be over the next 2 years. Cripps and Walsh put on a little bit of size. Curno's looking good. Jez Cameron's still just walking around doing whatever he wants. Blitzarves is still athletic as ever. I feel we match up really well against them, but they've definitely had the wood over us the last few sides. But as you mentioned, Jez Cameron kicked the first, $9.75, but it definitely did look like 2 heavyweights going at it. But inaccuracy will lose you games. So the first quarter is 5 goals 2 to 2 goals 8. It's not only that, but it's the inability to put scoreboard pressure on. So if you can get yourself a couple of goals up, almost like the Bombers did the other day, then you can afford to have a couple of mistakes because you've still got a bit of scoreboard pressure there that you can lean on and you can start to play a little bit differently. But the fact that we worked so hard to get the balls in, entry, and we kept missing. Then they go up the other end and score. It's so deflating. And then you're just playing catch-up footy. Then you have to play a little bit more conservative. But at the very end of the game, I said, this is actually a good spot for us to be in. Like, not that it is because you're down 30, but I'm like, they're going to park the bus now. Like, watch us have a crack at it. We kicked 4 in 4 minutes. Blake Acres kicked 2 in about 30 seconds. And it was very fun to watch. But at the end of the day, they got us. This would be a really good one in basketball terms if you could play like a best of 7 over 7 weekends.
Yeah.
And we might lose today, we might win the next 2. I just feel we match up really well, and I'm sure that we will probably see them later on in the year, and hopefully we learn from the mistakes. If you're going to lose, don't mind losing to the really good sides because you sort of get a little bit of feedback from that.
There's a couple of things. So, as you said, this game was fucking awesome. Just heavyweights going out. But when I did my premiership pie and I made Geelong the clear premiership favourites, they questioned, they're like, why is everyone getting so high on Geelong? And it's like, they're fucking awesome. They're 7 and zip. They only travelled twice in the last 10 games. Like I've said this 100 times. They're going to be so, so good and so hard to beat. Carlton do not have an answer for Jeremy Cameron. You put Wiedering on Tom Hawkins, 2 brick shithouses.
Which is the matchup? That's the matchup.
Yeah, that has to be the matchup. And then Jeremy Cameron just does what he wants against the Blues. 5 and 17 yesterday, 25 and 6 last time they played. Danger was great. Cripps was great. Walsh was good. Curnow was unbelievable for the third quarter. Mackay was good. Hawkins was nowhere. But, it was just a fucking awesome game. But I just thought Geelong were clearly better. They were up by 40 points with about 10 minutes to go. I know it came to 13 points and you kicked your 4 goals in 4 minutes, but Geelong smashed you, I reckon. Watching, I'm like, they're just too good. They are too good for the Blues. And they were injured without Danger and stuff. They were missing Tom Stewart, and to still be 40 points up on Carlton with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, that game wasn't close. They are just better than the Blues. So, yeah, they are setting themselves. It's getting me worried. It better not be the Swans getting a 90-point ass-kicking grand final day again. As I say, I'd rather lose the prelim than go to another losing grand final as a Swan supporter. So if it's going to be a date with Geelong, just lose the prelim. I can't go again and watch us lose by 90 points, but they're fucking awesome. Yes, they might get a bit injured, but they can start resting blokes. Hawk hasn't kicked a goal in 3 weeks and they're still winning.
I just wanted to, when we were behind the goals against the Giants game and we could watch it unfold, how we defend, would have been really interesting to sit there in that game to watch, because if you look at most of the stats, so when you play fire with fire, you expect to get burnt sometimes. And we got burnt on transition. They beat us at our own game. But when you're leading in hitouts, clearances, contested possessions, uncontested possessions, their efficiency inside 50, Jev. So they had only 45 inside 50s. We had 66. So they went at 62% in front of goals. We went 45, and that's pretty much the game. But there was another one that I looked at which I found very interesting. Where was it? There. So tackles inside forward 50. We had 24 tackles inside forward 50. They only had 8 for the game. If you're winning that, timesing them by 3, most of the time you're going to win because you're forward pressure. And their ability, I don't know how fucking strong they are. I mentioned it yesterday. When AFL teams recover, they go in the salt water. There must be something in the damn water. These blokes just go in the cold damn water, just farm water. Those guys don't get tackled, do they?
Yeah.
All of them. Guthrie stands up.
Bigger their
Tui
legs and their butt and stuff. Zach Tui, the thickness of his body, and Mark Blitzars, they're just big fucking boys. Danger. How fucking thick is Pat Dangerfield? They are just, as we said, they must all have free-range eggs down there on their farms or something. What are they eating? Or they're eating their own grass-fed Wagyu, or they're eating good eggs, good steak, and damn water recovery, because they're just fucking massive. They're fast. They're so good. They're so fucking good.
I'm excited to watch their back end of the year because they will eventually drop some games.
Yeah.
That's fine, but that's you got to stack your wins, make your finals, and then...
And now Tom Stewart comes back in. He'll just waltz back in. Nearly best player in the comp.
Yeah, awesome.
Fucking hell. So that was an awesome game. We got some odds quickly.
Read.
I'll give you some things if you get the stats up. So Cripps kicked 2 and had 29. I've got them up here as well. Pat Cripps for 2 was 11.50 for 2, which is nice. That could be a must-watch bet. Because he kicks 1 every week and he's always playing out a full forward. What about Curnow kick 3, 2.25. Whenever you're doubling your money with Curnow. Blake Acres for 2. What did your man Blake get for 2? 11.50 as well. So Cripps and Blake Acres, 11.50 for 2 goals. And Elijah Hollins, your other bloke, 4.25 for 2. Let's go to Geelong goal kickers. Jez he paid 11-1 for 5. What a star.
How is Jez the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 9th highest ranked player on the ground?
I know. What about Zach Tui kick 3? You could only get him for 1 at $3.90, which is a bit stiff. Blitzar's kick 1. What did he play for 1? $2.75. Jack Bowes, what did he pay for 1? I don't even think you could get him. $2.85. So they were just a lot of singles and Jez. And then touches, really, it was Walsh.
He's $1.51.
Cripps, 29. That's not much. Akers, 28. What was Akers for 25? Das. Get it? I'll get it.
$3.
$3, nice. And that's really it. Guthrie, 25. Holmes, 25. Duncan, 24. So, yeah, nothing huge. Good value in the goal kickers, but none in the touches. There wasn't a touch fest. So that was the grand final preview. We will come back and see because that game was fucking awesome.
Before we move on, I just want to say, I said at the start of the year, the umpires love Patrick Cripps. He's having a great season.
Yeah.
He's having a fantastic season. I'm not sure if you're not a Blues fan and like you may think he's a little bit slow and in and under. The umpires recognise what he does at contest.
Yeah.
And he had another cracking game. The knock on his game was his inaccuracy in front of goals for years.
Yeah.
And now when you're getting these games and then you can hit the scoreboard, every time he gets near goals, you think he's going to kick it now.
Yep.
And he just takes the team along with him. He's having a sneaky good year. So if you like Cripps, have a flutter. There's still a really good time to get some of your favourite players in the Brownlow.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to do stock market on the 100K and we get some odds this week because there's a few Brownlow movers and shakers I want to talk about. Finally, last game, let's be honest, we were 10 pints of better beer and 10 pints of hard solo deep in this game, so we can't give too much analysis. All I saw was Bailey Banfield in the last quarter light it up, kick 2 to seal the game, right at the end of the game to win. What are the Bulldogs, Das?
They're a 500 team, Jev.
They're a flake.
They're a flake in your storm from Hungry Jacks. That's what they are. That's what they are. We need to do something with that. But, Jev, that's all they are. They're a 500 team, which means they win 50% of their games, and that's it.
They're the 9th best team in the comp. They're not a top 8 side.
That's what they are.
They're not a bottom 8 side. They are the 9th best team in the comp. They are smack bang in the middle average.
They're the fluffer for the finals teams.
Yeah.
They just get them ready.
Yeah.
They're the launch pad.
They're the shit porn stars that can't get the real job. They just fluff. Fuck, that's stiff. That is mean. Anyway, let's do some odds. People can... So, Bailey Bamford kicked 3. Paid $10.50 for 3. Tracy, Big Trace, he kicks one every week. He paid $3.90 for 3. We're getting $1.16 for him anytime does. He's kicked one every single game of the year. So I'm putting that in the 100K next week. Luke Jackson, $2.05. What about some Dogs goal kickers? Big Sam Darcy, geez, won't he be a player? Sam Darcy for 2 was 2, for 3 was $6.25. Not bad. Bailey Dale, Norton English. What about Bailey Dale? Could you get him for 2? No, I couldn't get him. And then touches. So this is where
37
wound back the clock. 37. What was he for 35? 19-1.
He had 18 contested possessions. That is a lot.
Sarong, 37. I called him for 35 and looked for him for 40 on the 100K. It was $3.80 for 35. $49.75. I saw that coming after the touch-up Harley Reid gave him last week. And then Andrew Brayshaw for 30 was $2.40. Bont, 27. Oh, God, they're wasting Bont's career.
He's done. He'll never win a Brownlow again.
Oh, God. Don't tell me.
He'll never win. They'll probably never win another final.
Oh, don't tell me.
They're going backwards.
Don't tell me. But are they?
They've
got Darcy, Norton, Jamara, Tim English, Marcus Bontempelli, Cody Waitman. They've got good players everywhere.
If you look at Bond's career going up like this, when he kicked that 3rd goal in the grand final against Melbourne, that was the top of the peak. And it's just...
I gotta go. I gotta get in the train and go to the fucking footy. Good Sunday, Rose. I don't know if you're gonna jump back on here and quickly record the last couple of games or not, but good Sunday, Rose. Good to speak to you. See you on the show this week.
The Hawks are gonna win today.
No, they're not. This one's a certainties. Absolute certainties. I gotta go.
$3.50 I'm getting for the Hawks, Jev.
Take it. I'll give you $4.50. Give me $100. See you, Dobe. Give pricey one.
Yeah. Bash.